What is up, y'all? This is Abwon. This is Before You Watch spoiler-free reviews. I'm really excited to do this review, man. My last review was for Terminator Dark Fate. Definitely go check that out. You haven't really been getting a lot of content from me as of late because, one, my production company Moonlight Media is extremely busy. I'm prepping 2020 for us to be successful. I'm ready for y'all to see our content on the big and small screens, not on the YouTube screens. But two, it's just really dry on the movie front, but that's no excuse because with all these streaming platforms out here, I could easily be reviewing anything. It's just I just be busy as hell. Anyway, if this is your first time tuning in, I do spoiler-free reviews all the time. Subscribe, hit that notification bell because it be lit. Yo, the content be A1. Anyway, Queen and Slim. I saw a commercial for it and I posted something on Instagram saying that I wanted to review it. Was anybody interested in being a special guest? I got crickets. I tell you no lies, I got crickets. Somebody might have hit me back like 3 days later saying, please review it. I'm really interested because I don't know how, I don't really know what to think after seeing the previews. Okay, understandable. I watched the movie. Nobody was checking for it. Nobody came to me like, yo, where the review at? Nothing. Thanksgiving and Black Friday came and went. Not a peep from anybody. Cyber Monday gets here. I'm getting texts from the homies. I'm getting Facebook messages, people tagging me on Facebook posts. I'm getting Instagram DMs, people hitting me up just constantly about this movie. So if you do not know what this movie's about, I'll give you a quick synopsis here, and it's in the trailer, so you can't say I'm spoiling it for you. The gentleman from Get Out and the young lady go on a first date. They met from Tinder, for anybody that's wondering. It wasn't POF. And they get pulled over while he's on the way to take her home. She's a lawyer, by the way, and he's a devout Christian. And him and a police officer get into a test of fisticuffs. He gets a hold of the officer's pistol and he kills the officer. And the rest of the movie happens. And that's where the beauty of it all is, because you take this new couple. They have absolutely no chemistry. She's being extremely difficult. She's like throwing shade at him, asking him things like, oh, did you only bring me here because you don't have any money, or is this the only place you actually know where to go? She asks him, she starts questioning him about the foods he eats and things like that. He asks her what took her so long to message him back, and she says, oh, you look sad, I felt sorry for you. They just have no chemistry. They just have no chemistry. I'm just looking at it like, why are you with her? But as the movie goes on, you see how they become this beautiful, empowering couple. After that whole scene with him and a police officer, obviously he's never murdered somebody before and definitely not a police officer, so he's going through something mentally. Her being a lawyer, she tried to defuse the situation and all of that. It didn't work. She pretty much takes the helm in terms of everything that they need to do to get out of Dodge. She's letting him know, hey, we got to take this route. Hey, we got to go here. You got to get rid of your phone. We got to do this. We got to do that. The whole time he's thinking to himself, he has to call his parents. He has to call his parents and let them know what's going on. And she's like, nah, your phone's a tracking device. You can't do that. We got to do this, that, and the third. But then as the movie goes on and on and on, the roles the tables start to turn. I'm not saying she's being submissive because she's still a very strong woman, but she starts seeing him for who he really is. She starts opening up. She becomes more vulnerable to him, and they become an even bigger couple at the end of the day. There's a scene where she breaks she separates her shoulder. He pops it back in, and he figures out a way for them to get out of that particular situation. That's all I'm gonna say about it. I've seen people all over social media bash this movie. They're saying it sucks. Oh, I'm so irritated. I'm disappointed in the producers and the directors that they would do this type of movie. And I'm thinking to myself, what about this movie is so bad where you really had to think to yourself and say, this is one of the worst movies I've ever seen? Because we're talking about movies. We're talking about people that watch movies like Transformers, Planet of the Apes. You know what I'm saying? They watch everything under the sun. They watch all of these BET movies with like super duper low production budgets. But this movie is like the worst movie of all time. You know, art does imitate life, and the way America is moving right now with the police brutality and everything like that, you can't fault the producers and the directors for making a movie that has a story behind it and everything else is going on. There's so much symbology and subliminal messages in this film. I'll give you an example. So you don't ever hear the leading lady or the leading man's name in this film until the end of the movie. And I honestly feel like it was because as you're watching them, you identify with them as the couple, the man, the woman, and as opposed to everybody else in the movie, like the rest of the cast, they're identifying them as, even on the news, a young black male, a young black woman, a young black couple. They're dangerous and armed. There's also another scene too. They're on the run, obviously, and somebody tells them, hey, you know, if you guys don't want to get stopped by these white folks or be looked at as at these white folks differently, you got to cut your hair. You know what I'm saying? And it's just things like that that just really just resonated with me, because I'm just like, you know, we deal with things like this on a daily basis. Some people are saying, oh, this is a black Bonnie and Clyde. It's a black Bonnie and Clyde. I can understand why you can make those type of comparisons. I didn't look at it like that. This movie, to me, this movie it's a love story, because the movie starts out with a couple on a date trying to get to know each other, and then things just happen. And even when all of that is going on, these two are still finding time to get to know each other. They're on the run, like I said, obviously. There's a part where he stops by a random bar and he's like, yo, you know, I want to take you for a dance. And she's like, yo, we gotta go. Like, we don't have time. Can we just do this when we're like out of here and we're safe? And he's like, just one dance. I just want to dance with you. I want to dance with you. And it's just things like that. They talk about their past and certain scenes. It's just things like that. And the character development is so strong, man. It's like at the end of the movie, you feel like you know these people. There's one scene. The two have sex, because you know they're gonna have sex. They have sex, and it's not just your typical sex and, oh yeah, I'm about to get this nut. It's not your typical sex scene. So they're in the car having sex, and there's a protest going on somewhere else at the same time. And they've got this intense jazz music in the background. And as the sex intensifies, so does the protest. And at the end of the protest, when it hits its peak, that's when the woman orgasms. And at the end of that scene, you're just like satisfied, like, damn, that was a crazy scene. The cinematography is crazy. I feel like they really had sex. They probably did. I don't know. They was probably like, oh, we're going to get it in. We're going to make it as real as possible. I don't know. The only negative I had about this movie is that I felt it was a little long. Yeah, that was it. It was like maybe 2 hours and 20 minutes or 2 hours and 30 minutes. I just felt it was a little long. It could have been 2 hours even, but the movie didn't drag at all. I was completely glued to my seat, man. There were people crying at the end of this movie. There were people clapping at the end of this movie, and I was one of the two. And I'm not gonna spoil it for you, so I'm gonna leave it up to you to figure out which one I was. The music is top notch. I downloaded like 4 songs off the soundtrack, even though a few of them I already had. Like, you just can't go wrong with this film, man. At the end of the day, I'm gonna give this movie a 9.5, man. I really wanna watch this movie again. I really do. I'm trying to see it again right now. And I encourage you to watch this movie. Every year a movie comes out, people are offended. You just can't help. You just can't please everybody, man. First it's Get Out. People are mad that he got arrested at the end. Then people are mad at Harriet. This movie is no different. But trust and believe, when the awards come up, this movie is definitely going to be nominated for a couple. Go see this movie and let me know what you thought in the comments, man. I recommend it to everybody. All right, y'all. I'm out of here. Peace.